chairman, ministers, and participants. I wish to look at this at the state level. And all of the speakers have already highlighted quite a number of issues which I just want to capture as an introduction. When we look at human resource here, we need to specify for what. Right now, we have medical tourism, but our interest is not on medical tourism because we need to meet the basic needs of our different states. That is why the issue of the benefit of a package is crucial, because it is on that note that we know who is doing what and what our targets need to be. We've been told this earlier that Nigeria does not really lack health workers. The WHO standard is that we should have at least 2.28 of doctors and nurses to 1,000 population to be able to have 50% coverage for maternal care. Nigeria stands at 1.9, and it's one of the highest in the continent. But like others have already stated, our major problem is maldistribution. When you look at the issue of maldistribution, it starts from production. If you take a look at where the human resources are coming from, the institutions are more towards the south than the north. So it is not uncommon that you see more of the health workers at the southern part of the country, with fewer at the north. Enrollment is not in consonance with needs. What determines how many most often is based on the limits that the accrediting institutions specify, not on the need that that state has. And when we also want to look at where these human resources are, there's a tendency towards the federal, tendency towards the southern, as I've already said, tendency towards the curative care, and of course, the urban setting. I took a look at my state once, and I tried to look at the proportion of doctors we had, rural versus urban. I noticed that 90% of the doctors in the state were in the federal institutions. Then the private sector had a limited number, though, like 10%. Sorry, teaching. The federal had like 80, the private had 10%, and the state had 10%. When you consider where the federal institutions are and the private, they are all in the urban. So that leaves the rural setting with just about 10%. I remember writing to my governor and saying, sir, the responsibility of feeding the rural setting lies with us. The state must take that responsibility, because the private sector will not go and set up its practice where it is not sure of getting the returns back. Health is a social service that the state must recognize, that lies squarely with the state. And the reason why we have this disparity is nothing more than salary and training. We always look at the money aspect, but there's something else that draws the doctors to the federal institution, which is training, which the state lacks. So the states need to build up their capacity towards that aspect. There's a wide gap in the remuneration of health workers between the state, the local government, and the federal. So what are the recommended actions? Starting with the federal, we've already heard how our teaching hospitals have been turned into primary healthcare centers. I want to please advocate that we get our doctors out and get the experience, rather than wait at the teaching hospital for the patients to come to them. It takes away their time and they cannot really give that quality care that they ought to. If we do this, our rural communities will be served. We need to have state policy, human resource for health policy, and also a tactical plan. And when I mean tactical plan, I mean tactical, we're not looking at another strategic plan like the federal. We don't need a strategic plan for state. We need tactical plan for human resource that will stipulate how many we want, what mix, and decide on the recruitment, the deployment. Where should they go? What skills should they have? And that would also underline our budgets. It will help us to budget properly and be able to fill the gaps. Then, of course, we also need continuous professional development, not just for the doctors. One of the speakers has already mentioned it. Training and retraining of all the health workers, even the Jews. What we have in our system today is just ad hoc training, and they are geared towards programs, not looking at delivering on primary health care. So, what we have in our individual practices are that these health workers keep moving from one place to another, from one training to another. I've had cause to visit my LGAs, and I rarely see my PhD coordinator. I just wonder what time they have to actually practice, what time they have to supervise. So we really need to harmonize the training. Somebody has already spoken on that. And then the states also need to develop their capacities in training. Our secondary health facilities can be upgraded to provide residency training. Like I had earlier said, training attracts doctors. When we do that, they don't need to be on, we don't need to ensure that they will have retirement benefits. They are only coming for training. And so the fear of how much we are going to spend is not there. It's just for the number of years that the residents are with us. When we have this training, we will have a lot more of our doctors going even into the rural communities and serving them. We must also look at the primary healthcare sector. Like I said, our plan is for the PHC, and so the community health extension workers need to be deployed properly. I'm looking at training them even in taking deliveries and being able to supervise, and we talk about task shifting, so we have to look into that area. Then compulsory NYSC training for the midwives and the doctors, and of course strengthening our human resource for health information system and observatories. Thank you.
Thank you very much.